Hi, James. You seem really focused today. What's got you so engrossed at your desk?
Oh, just writing my New Year wishes. It's a little tradition of mine.
That's such a thoughtful gesture. Most people these days just shoot off a quick text or email. Why do you still take the time to handwrite these cards?
Well, Alex, there's something special about taking a moment to think of someone, penning down your thoughts and sending it their way. It's personal and it shows you care.
That makes sense, James. But honestly, isn't it a bit time-consuming? I imagine it takes us a lot more effort than just tapping away on a phone. What keeps you committed to this?
You're right. It does take more time, but that's exactly the point. When you slow down and dedicate time to people, it's a way of saying you matter to me. Relationships thrive on that effort. It's not about convenience. It's about connection.
That's a powerful perspective. Have you had any moments where this effort really made a difference? Maybe a story where reaching out changed something for you.
Oh, absolutely. A few years ago, I sent a New Year's card to an old college friend. We hadn't spoken in over 2 decades. To my surprise, he called me after receiving it. That simple card reopened a friendship that had faded over time.
That must have been such a heartwarming moment. Did the friendship grow from there?
It did. We caught up on everything, families, careers, life's ups and downs. Now we talk regularly, and he's even visited me a few times. It reminded me how vital it is to keep those bonds alive. Life is too short to let relationships fade because of busy schedules or distractions.
That's so true, James. It's easy to let time slip by without reaching out to people. Do you think this is something everyone should try to do, especially as a New Year's resolution?
Absolutely, Alex. It doesn't have to be handwritten cards. It could be a call, a thoughtful email, or even a quick message. The key is to be intentional about it. Strengthening relationships brings immense peace and happiness, and that's the best foundation for a successful year ahead.
I can see how that could transform someone's outlook. So if you had to summarize, your life advice for a better 2025 would be to prioritize relationships?
Without a doubt, life is richer and more fulfilling when you focus on the people who matter. A small effort to connect can lead to unexpected joys and lifelong memories.
That's incredibly inspiring, James. I think many of us need that reminder. Thank you for sharing such heartfelt wisdom.
My pleasure, Alex. Take the time this new year to reach out and reconnect. You might be surprised at how much a simple gesture can mean.
Take the time this new year to reach out and reconnect. A small gesture could lead to lasting happiness and peace in 2025. Margaret, it's so nice to sit down with you. I've heard you have some unique insights about starting the new year right. What's on your mind as we approach 2025?
It's great to chat with you, Alex. Lately, I've been reflecting on the power of saying no. It's something I've learned to embrace, and it has made my life so much more peaceful.
That's intriguing. Most people associate saying no with being negative or dismissive. Why do you see it as something so important?
For years, I was a chronic people pleaser. I would agree to every invitation, every favor, every responsibility, even when I was exhausted or overwhelmed. But I realized that saying yes to everything meant saying no to my own well-being.
That's such a powerful realization. Can you share a specific instance where saying no made a big difference for you?
Absolutely. Last year during the holiday season, I was bombarded with requests to organize events, bake for fundraisers, and attend countless gatherings. Normally, I'd have said yes to all of it, but I decided to set boundaries. I said no to a few obligations and chose to spend that time writing heartfelt New Year wishes to my closest friends and family instead.
That must have been a difficult decision at first. How did people react?
Surprisingly, most people understood, and those who didn't, well, I learned that their disappointment wasn't my responsibility to carry. The time I freed up allowed me to focus on what truly mattered. Writing those letters was such a meaningful experience. I received so many heartfelt responses. It strengthened my relationships in a way I didn't expect.
That's an incredible story. So by saying no to things that didn't align with your priorities, you could say yes to something more valuable.
Exactly, Alex. It's not about rejecting people or opportunities. It's about being intentional. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Being selective ensures you're giving your best energy to what really matters.
That's such an important perspective. Do you think this is something everyone should adopt as a New Year's resolution?
Without question, learning to say no is liberating. It gives you control over your time and energy. And that's the best gift you can give yourself for a better year ahead.
So if I had to sum up your life advice, it's to embrace the power of no as a way to prioritize what truly matters in life.
Absolutely. When you say no to the unnecessary, you create space for the meaningful. That's the secret to peace, happiness, and a fulfilling 2025.
Thank you, Margaret. That's such a valuable lesson. I think many people, including myself, will benefit from this wisdom.
My pleasure, Alex. Here's to a year of saying no to stress and yes to joy and fulfillment.
Embracing the power of no is a life advice that can free your time and energy for what truly matters, paving the way for a peaceful and fulfilling 2025. Edward, thanks for making time to chat today. I hear you have some inspiring perspectives about the new year. What's your top piece of advice for starting 2025 on the right note?
It's my pleasure, Alex. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that you should never take your health for granted. My advice, invest in your health. It's the best gift you can give yourself.
That's so true, but it's easier said than done. What inspired you to make health such a priority?
A few years ago, I had a major wake-up call. I'd always been busy, too busy, really, and neglected exercise and eating well. Then I ended up in the hospital with a heart scare. That moment changed everything for me.
Wow, that must have been a tough experience. What did you do after that?
After my recovery, I knew I had to make changes. I started small, daily walks, cutting back on processed foods, and drinking more water. One of the most surprising things was how these small steps snowballed. I began feeling better, sleeping better, and even my mood improved. That's when I realized how much of life's quality depends on your health.
That's incredible, Edward. Did this new focus on health change how you approach other parts of your life, like relationships or even traditions like sending New Year wishes?
It did. One thing I started doing was pairing my health goals with meaningful traditions. For instance, instead of just writing New Year's cards, I'd visit loved ones for a walk or a healthy meal together. Those moments felt so much more personal and aligned with my goals.
That's such a great idea, combining physical health with emotional connections. It sounds like you found a way to strengthen both at once.
Exactly. Health isn't just about the body. It's about the mind and relationships too. When you invest in your health, you're also investing in the energy to build stronger connections and enjoy life more fully.
That's really inspiring, Edward. Do you think most people could benefit from adopting this mindset as a New Year's resolution?
Absolutely. You don't need a health scare to start. Small changes like committing to a daily walk or eating more whole foods can make a big difference. It's about consistency and valuing yourself enough to make your health a priority.
So your life advice for 2025 would be to invest in your health as a way to create a better future.
That's right. When you care for your health, everything else falls into place. You have more energy, a clearer mind, and the ability to truly savor life's moments.
Thank you, Edward. That's such a valuable lesson. I think many people will find it helpful as they plan for the new year.
My pleasure, Alex. Here's to a 2025 filled with health, happiness, and meaningful connections.
Prioritizing health is a life advice that empowers you to live fully and joyfully, setting the foundation for a peaceful and fulfilling 2025. Helen, it's so nice to catch up with you. As the new year approaches, I've been asking people about their best life advice. What's your secret to a fulfilling year? I'm curious to hear what wisdom you've gathered over the years and how you apply it to something as personal as celebrating the new year.
Great to see you too, Alex. For me, it all comes down to this: simplify your life. It's amazing how much clarity and peace you can find when you let go of the unnecessary. It's not just about decluttering your space, it's about decluttering your mind, and life feels lighter and more manageable when you focus only on what truly matters.
That's a wonderful philosophy. How did you come to embrace the idea of simplicity? Was it a particular event, or did it come gradually over time as you reflected on how you were living?
A few years ago, my life was full of clutter, both physically and emotionally. My home was packed with things I didn't use, and my calendar was always overloaded. It felt like I was always running around but never actually living. I realized I wasn't enjoying anything because I was constantly overwhelmed. So I decided to make a change. It wasn't easy at first, but it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
What did that change look like? Was it a slow process, or did you overhaul everything at once? I imagine taking those first steps can feel daunting when you're used to the noise and busyness of life.
It started small. I decluttered one room at a time, donated items I didn't need, and stopped saying yes to every request. One specific change was how I approached sending New Year wishes. Instead of a long, stressful process of writing dozens of generic cards, I chose to write a handful of thoughtful, personal letters. It made the tradition so much more meaningful and less overwhelming. I found that even small shifts like this could have a big impact.
That's a great example. How did people respond to the more personal approach? Did it change how they viewed their connection with you?
Honestly, they loved it. I received heartfelt replies and even rekindled some old friendships. Simplifying the process didn't just save me time. It brought me closer to the people who matter most. It was a beautiful reminder that less can truly be more when it comes to fostering meaningful relationships.
That's such a beautiful outcome. Do you think this idea of simplifying can apply to other areas of life too? I'm sure many people feel the same kind of overwhelm you described, but it's not always clear where to start.
Absolutely, Alex. Whether it's your possessions commitments or even your thoughts, less is often more. When you create space, you make room for the things that truly matter, like health, relationships, and peace of mind. I've found that when you simplify, you also gain the clarity to focus on what brings you joy.
That's a powerful perspective, Helen. If someone wanted to adopt this mindset for 2025, what would you recommend as a starting point? How can they take those first steps towards simplifying their life?
Start by asking yourself what adds value to your life and what doesn't. Let go of the rest. It might mean clearing out a closet, cutting back on social obligations, or even turning off notifications on your phone. Every small step adds up. For example, instead of trying to do everything, focus on doing a few things well. It's about being intentional with your time and energy.
So your life advice for a better 2025 would be to simplify your life as a way to focus on what truly matters.
Exactly. Simplification is liberating. When you clear the clutter, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, you gain the freedom to live with intention and joy. It's not about having less, it's about making room for more of what you love.
Thank you, Helen. That's such an inspiring message. I think it's something we all need to hear as we step into the new year. You've really shown how simplicity can be a tool for happiness.
My pleasure, Alex. Here's to a 2025 filled with clarity, purpose, and meaningful connections. Simplify, and you'll see how much beauty there is in life's simplest moments.
Simplifying your life is a life advice that clears the path for joy, purpose, and a peaceful 2025. Thomas, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. As we approach 2025, I've been gathering life advice from people with rich experiences. What's one piece of wisdom you'd like to share for starting the new year?
It's great to talk with you, Alex. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's to activate a sense of gratitude. Gratitude has the power to transform your outlook on life and bring unexpected joy.
That's a beautiful thought. Gratitude often feels like something we take for granted. How did you come to embrace it as such an essential part of your life?
A few years ago, I went through a tough time. I lost my job unexpectedly and felt adrift. I was so focused on what I had lost that I couldn't see what I still had. Then one day, my grandson gave me a handmade card. Inside, he wrote, "I'm thankful for you, Grandpa." It was such a small gesture, but it made me realize how much I had to be grateful for.
That's such a practical idea. Did this sense of gratitude affect how you approach traditions like sending New Year wishes?
Absolutely. I used to write generic New Year's cards, but now I make them personal. I tell people why I'm grateful for them and how they've impacted my life. It's a small change, but it's made those connections so much deeper. And the responses I get, they're incredible. People appreciate being acknowledged.
That's inspiring, Thomas. Do you think cultivating gratitude is something everyone can do, even if they're facing difficulties?
Without a doubt, gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the hard stuff. It's about finding the good amidst the challenges. Even on the worst days, there's something to be thankful for. It could be a supportive friend, a small accomplishment, or even just having another day to try again.
So your life advice for 2025 would be to cultivate a sense of gratitude as a way to bring joy and perspective into the year.
Exactly. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you're missing to what you have. It's a simple practice, but its impact is profound. When you approach life with gratitude, you open the door to peace, resilience, and deeper connection.
Thank you, Thomas. That's such a powerful message. I think many people, including myself, will benefit from embracing gratitude as we step into the new year.
My pleasure, Alex. Here's to a 2025 filled with appreciation, connection, and joy. Let gratitude light the way.
Cultivating a sense of gratitude is a life advice that brings joy, resilience, and deeper connections, paving the way for a fulfilling 2025. Start your year with peace and joy by prioritizing relationships, simplifying life, embracing gratitude, and investing in health. Let go of stress and focus on what truly matters. For more wisdom and practical tips, subscribe to LEVVA and join us in creating a fulfilling and happy year ahead.